We have a distinguished panel here. On my right, David Carroll, who went to the University of Maryland and played football and baseball there, and knows everything about the Ravens that you'll ever want to know. And then on my left, we have the Redskin historian, who's put out 2 great books who a lot of my readers really enjoy, I'll tell you.
Thank you, Bill.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on.
And also next to you is Chris Marks, who loves the Pittsburgh Pirates, Pittsburgh Steelers, University of Pittsburgh, and a bunch of other.
And the Penguins.
Oh, yeah, but the Penguins, they lost to Philadelphia.
Let's not talk about that.
Nah,
I didn't think we were talking about hockey today. I thought we were going to go ahead right into the RG3 discussion.
Well, we should, because I've got a Baylor hat on.
There you go. Come prepared, Bill.
My granddaughter who went to Baylor and graduated from there.
Nice.
And yes, it is. And I hope she makes a lot of money in television so that she can support her poor old granddad in old age. Anyway, it's over, the big draft and everything. And of course, a couple teams got what they wanted and a couple teams didn't. So why don't we start off with the Redskins and see how they did in the draft, and then we'll go over to David and see how the Ravens made out, if they did.
Well, everyone knew, of course, the Redskins were going to take RG3 with the #2 pick, having moved up. And he seems to have all the tools to be a great quarterback in the NFL. The speed, the accuracy, the arm, the intelligence, it all seems to be in place for him. I'm not buying into any of that RG3 mania as of yet, though. I know he's already been anointed the starter. That's what Shanahan said after the rookie minicamp. But let's just wait until he takes a snap in the NFL. There have been several Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks who have not done very well, who've been busts in the NFL. So let's just see what he can do on the field, and then we'll all get on the bandwagon.
Well, I've seen a couple that shouldn't have been on the bandwagon. I guess Heath Shuler, he had a better career in politics. And then there was Ronnie Knox way back in the, was it the 70s? He came from UCLA where he was a tailback, but they were making him a quarterback, and it really didn't work out.
It's interesting you bring up Heath Shuler because Mike and I were talking before we went on. The same year they drafted Heath Shuler in the top 5, and he ended up not being able to play very well. They took Gus Frerotte in the 7th round to cover themselves, and Gus ended up having, was he, 16-year NFL career starter, made the
Something
Pro
like
Bowl.
that, yeah, 12, 14 years.
And now the Redskins in this same draft go ahead and take Kirk Cousins out of Michigan State in the 4th round, and you have to scratch your head. The team that needs everything, they get their franchise quarterback, trade away the future, and then they go ahead and take a quarterback in the 4th round.
Well, what I think about this Kirk Cousins pick, I know it was a very curious pick, and a lot of people were angry at the Redskins, but I think they're going to use him as trade bait. I think that's what we were talking about this beforehand regarding Matt Castle. I think that's the way they're positioning this guy. Injuries are going to happen in the NFL. RG3 he's a running quarterback, very mobile, so and he's going to take a lot of hits. He may be out of a few games. If Cousins comes in and does well, his stock is going to go up, and maybe the Redskins will be able to recoup a 1st round or 2nd round pick that they lost in moving up for RG3.
Yeah, but that makes sense. But the problem with that is the Redskins need to win now. The Redskin fans and the Redskin organization has been so low for so long. You can't make picks like that when you have glaring needs. And there was guys on the board that could have helped the Redskins with that Kirk Cousins pick. And maybe they will be able to trade value for him. But you know what? They're not winning now, so it's not like they're coming off of a deep in the playoffs or a Super Bowl and they can afford to bank a couple players and for the future. They can't. They have too many needs now. So to me, the pick just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. They need guys. They need bodies on the field now, and there's no way Cousins and RG3 will never be on the field at the same time. Never. So right. It just did not make sense.
I like what you say there, Dave, because the Redskins need players. They need something to give the fans something to believe in.
Bodies on the field.
Bodies on the field. You have a lot of Redskin fans who are jumping ship to the Ravens now. The team hasn't won.
I don't know about that.
The team hasn't won in 20 years. They traded away a 1st-round pick next year, a 1st-round pick in 2014, a 2nd-round pick this year. So it's not like they have picks stockpiled in the future. They didn't get much back, and they go ahead and take two quarterbacks in their first 3 picks.
But they did address their other major need in the offensive line. They took 3 offensive linemen, which is an area the Redskins have neglected so much over the years. This was the first time since 1992, the last year of the 12-round draft, that the Redskins took 3 O-linemen in the same draft. So I think that was great addressing that. I hear what you're saying. They could have taken maybe another offensive lineman or a D-back in the 4th round.
D-back, yeah, absolutely.
The defensive back, corner. They don't have a third corner right now.
Yeah,
they need to fill that role.
Well, they got Bernstein in the 7th round.
But he's got to develop. I mean, he's a 7th rounder, and Crawford, they have to develop.
But he's from Iowa, and I remember watching him play last year. He's a pretty good corner and a pretty good pick in the 7th round.
Right.
And let's get back to RG3 for a second. Now, here's a guy who won the Heisman, albeit he did play at Baylor. They didn't really win that much while he was there. I mean, it was their best bowl game, the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
And there's a lot on this guy's shoulders to come in here and play.
He's got the dangerous cocktail. Here's a dangerous cocktail for him. Incredible amount of hype. He's set up for failure. For somebody to live up to the amount of hype that this guy's coming in on, and he's coming in on a team on a huge tailspin. That cocktail of incredible hype and a team that hasn't been winning for a long time sets him up. Unless he's spectacular, unless he becomes everything, he's going to start getting pounded on. They start losing games, and for a young quarterback to start getting pounded on, and if it gets in his head, he could go south quick. And I think it's very, very dangerous to put a young quarterback in that position. He's going to have to be extreme, not only exceptionally physically gifted, which he is. He's going to have to be so mentally tough to compensate. Because now the Redskins fan says we're going to win now. Well, what if they don't? Then it's going to be his fault.
Well, the Redskins have so much invested in him right now. I mean, there's got to be a lot of hype. Also, we're talking about 24/7 media coverage right now. It's much different than in years past. So there's going to be all this attention focused on him. And the Redskins paid so much for this guy. He's got to be putting to that starting role right now. He has got to start opening day against the Saints. I mean, there's no question about it.
Well, the Redskins would have been better off trading better off keeping their draft picks and their 1st-round pick, picking a quality offensive lineman, defensive back, or corner, and picking Cousins where they pick Cousins if he was available. That would have been smarter. Now they got the whole future mortgage, and if RG3 doesn't work out, the Redskins are hosed again for years to come. I mean, to say, and if he doesn't work out, it won't. There's a lot of precedent.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
You have a guy who's already had a knee injury. And he's going to take a beating. I mean, they did draft 3 offensive linemen, but the guys they have back there now, he is going to get hit, and he's going to get hit a lot. And you might even make the case that there's more pressure on him as a number 2 pick with the Redskins than Andrew Luck has. You don't even really hear about Andrew Luck. You hear about RG3 all the time. He's now the starter. They came out, oh, he's the starter. He's the guy. And, he has immense pressure on him. He's saying all the right things now. Right. He sounds like a very, very, he's well brought up.
He's a very articulate guy, very intelligent, masters of it. But all that doesn't necessarily translate into being a great NFL quarterback. I want to say one thing, though. In terms of the comparisons to Cam Newton, I am sick of hearing that because he's not. Two different players. He's not as big as Cam Newton. Nope. Like you just said, he's going to take a lot of hits.
His arm's not nearly as good as Cam Newton's.
Right. It's not right to compare him to Cam Newton. It's just.
Cam Newton's a giant. I mean, that guy can absorb those hits.
Absolutely. You need a big like Ben Roethlisberger does an excellent job of that. And there was a couple guys. There was a guy on the NFL Network said that his estimation of RG3, he's Michael Vick with a weaker arm. That's pretty much who he is. But who knows? Prognosticating NFL quarterbacks is inexact science. You have guys like you said, Gus Frerotte coming in the 7th round was head and shoulders above Heath Schuler. At any point, Heath Schuler went in the 1st round of the year. But I did have an inside scoop. I heard the Redskins actually attempted to draft a new owner and weren't successful in doing that. But that's what they wanted. So them coming.
Who was your source that told you that?
I can't reveal that. But I'm just saying that's what they were hoping to come out and draft with a new owner, but they couldn't figure it out.
Draft a new owner. I wonder what you'd get in draft picks for somebody like that.
I'm going to say Dan Snyder. I like the fact that he stayed out of the spotlight in recent years. His first decade of owning the team, it was atrocious. Terrible free agency decision.
Probably the worst.
He knows it. He knows that, and he is. I don't think he's as meddlesome as he was in his first decade of owning the team. Now certainly he's signed off on this deal with RG3, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit and say that when I heard about this deal, I cringed. Basically, what we're all saying, it's investing too much at this point for the Redskins. They have so many other needs.
Exactly, too many, and they put too much pressure on RG3. The only owner that rivals Snyder in futility over the past half century is Peter Angelos in baseball. There's nobody else that's even close to him as far as
wait a minute.
ownership.
Jerry Jones, you got to put him. Yeah, absolutely.
He's better.
There is you want to talk about a team with hype?
He's a horrible
the Dallas
GM.
Cowboys.
Jerry Jones is a horrible GM.
They're put on the cover of Sports Illustrated every year. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Where have they been?
You're right. You're right about that.
He has won 3 though.
Right. Right.
But that was back in the 90s.
He still has won them though.
That's when he had the big 3, back in the 90s.
Jones is a terrible GM, but he's the decent owner.
Listen, this guy has got to stop talking to the media after games. He makes himself look like a fool.
He's got to stop being the GM. He's got to stop being. He's a terrible GM.
He's not a good GM.
He's not a good GM. He hurts the team by being a GM.
He's terrible.
His ego won't allow him to not be the GM. I fully expect at one point he's going to get so fed up. He's going to run out on the field. He's going to be under center at some point because he's just going to figure he's going to.
He's going to be playing quarterback.
He's going to quarterback.
Right. Hey Tony, you're out. Hey coach, I'm in.
But you know they were saying things about the Giants too when they took Eli Manning. So
anyway, just to leave you all note. Has anybody ever heard of Bob Short of the Senators as far as being a bad owner or a good owner? We'll be right back after this message.
I'm talking modern era, past half century.